Hi everyone, again, welcome to Geography 170 for Fall 2018. This short video is going to serve as an introduction to the syllabus. It's going to kind of cover the high points, but you're going to want to make sure that you read that syllabus carefully, use it as a guide for the rest of the semester, especially in my online classes, because everything's kind of laid out by module. A lot of people forget about that syllabus and they don't refer back to it, and then they're surprised by something that happens. So again, just make sure that you are following along with that syllabus. So again, my name is Jamie Rossiter. I hold office hours online on Google Hangouts on Mondays from 12 to 1, or by appointment on Google Hangouts. Or if you really need to meet with me, I will make my way down to San Diego. As I said in the last video, I live in Orange County, South Orange County, but a little bit of a hike. But I do come down to campus somewhat frequently. I teach most of my classes at Cal State San Marcos, actually, although I've taught this class at SDSU before, but not online. So it's the first time I'm teaching it online. I've taught online quite a bit over the past several years, so I'm pretty well versed in how that runs. But this is the first time teaching this specific class online, so it is a lot of this class when I teach it in person does group work, and so I'm going to try to make that happen as much as possible in this online format. But again, I hold office hours on Google Hangouts. You do not need a Gmail account. You can use one. If you're logged into your Gmail and go to hangouts.google.com, you'll automatically be logged in. If you're not, you can create a login though with any email address. You can use your SDSU one. It does not make a difference. You will find me on Google Hangouts at jamie.rossiter@sdsu.edu. And basically, when you log in on Mondays from 12 to 1, unless I've told you otherwise, I will be there. You can message me. You can do a phone call through there. You can also do a video call on your computer, should you have the capabilities. And again, I'm also available. You can make an appointment with me to meet on Google Hangouts. If you have class at that time, or like I said, if you really need to meet with me in person, and don't feel shy about asking to meet me in person, that's completely fine. Just let me know. It might take a little longer to schedule that though. So the course description, the purpose of this course is to investigate sustainability from a geographic perspective. We want to remember that we're in a geography class, including evaluating the meaning of sustainability in a variety of contexts. We will critically analyze practices at multiple scales, from global and national to local and individual, in order to better understand how daily decisions made by groups and individuals influence sustainability. The course focuses on case studies to both illustrate and critically evaluate the concept of sustainability and its application in real-world scenarios. The course will include environmental, economic, and social aspects of sustainable places and practices. That's a whole lot in there. This is kind of a broad survey course in sustainability, again, from that geographic perspective. The first lecture that you're going to watch as part of Module 1 it's me going to talk about, like, what do we mean by sustainability in general. But sustainability in general has this kind of threefold approach, that for something to be sustainable, you have to consider the environment, the economics, and social, people, basically. And so often when people think of sustainability, they first think of that environmental aspect, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. But we are going to really talk about all three. And we're going to talk about resources that we use. We're going to talk about environmental justice. We are going to talk about our food system. We are going to talk about cheap clothing. We're going to talk about a variety of situations, practices, and places in which people are trying to create sustainable places and practices. This is your textbook. It is Introduction to Sustainability by Robert Brinkman. You will need it for this class. I will be completely honest with you in that I do not love this textbook, but I have not found a sustainability textbook that I do love yet, and so this is kind of the one that I dislike the least. Part of the reason is because I think sometimes it often very much focuses on just the environmental and not that kind of threefold system. You need to read this book, and you need to follow it in order to kind of do well in the class. But My lectures, I do not lecture straight out of the chapter. So you're going to want to make sure that you pay attention to my lectures, because often I'm giving you information in there that I think is very important, but is not in that textbook. You'll also occasionally have supplemental readings that will be kind of just included in your work for that week. So this course is divided into modules. Every week is a module. So this week you're going to do module 1. So each week one module, you click on it and then you just cycle through the module and you complete it in order. Whether that's watching something, reading something, completing an assignment, doing an exam. Modules go live at 9 a.m. on Mondays and are due at 9 a.m. the following Monday. There are a couple exceptions to this rule. One is the first module, which is due on a Tuesday because of Labor Day. And the second is the last module, which is due on a Saturday, which is the last day of the semester. Grading for this class is as follows. You've got 2 exams. They are worth 100 points each. And so they will be a mix of multiple choice short answer and an essay question. Writing exercises, that should say worth 240 points, excuse me. Writing exercises are basically these assignments that you will complete within a module. There's 12 of them. You don't have one every week, but you have one, and I think one time you have 2 most weeks. And so these will be like a discussion question, or I'm going to ask you to go out on the internet and do something and find something, or I'm going to ask you to create something for you to hand in. There's also a research proposal. You will be, for a final paper, picking an industry or a product to evaluate for sustainability. And so you have to write me a research proposal to tell me what you're going to evaluate and the angle that you're going to come at it from. And this research proposal, if you do it, you get credit for it. It's a mechanism for me to discuss with you whether or not I think your project is feasible or you need to do something else. If you do not complete a research proposal, you cannot hand in a final paper. There's a plagiarism quiz as part of your first module. You can take it up to 3 times in order to improve your score. It's meant to be a learning tool. It is really easy to plagiarize in an online class. It's really easy to take an exam, Google something, copy and paste it, and put it in the exam. And then when that happens, you will get a 0 on the exam and you'll be reported to the university. This holds true for your writing exercises as well, right? Don't plagiarize in your writing exercises. If I want citations on a writing exercise, I will specifically ask for them. You certainly need them on your final paper and on your research proposal for that matter. Sometimes I will ask you to go find some sources in order to answer a question, and I'm going to want to know what those sources are. But avoid plagiarism. Don't do it. Course introduction in the first module, it's 15 points. It's basically you introducing yourself to the class, and I will give you a specific prompt for that. And that way we can kind of try to all get to know each other a little bit. That final paper that I talked about a second ago, which is worth 100 points, and so that's a total of 590 points for the semester, which seems like a weird number, but it actually does work out. Things are weighted how that I want them to be weighted. So at the end of the course, you have a certain number of points. Divide by 590, that is your grade. There will likely be an extra credit opportunity at some point in the semester. This class, when I've taught it in person, usually includes many field trips, but this is obviously a little bit different because it's online. I will probably do an extra credit field trip at some point if I can make it work with my schedule. I'm not guaranteeing it. But in the past, we've done urban parks, we've done urban farms. Usually when we're talking about urban sustainability, it's a really good time to do field trips. Just this is kind of my own note about inclusive classroom. It is my goal as an instructor to provide an inclusive, respectful, and vibrant classroom space. This includes online, where all students, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, socioeconomic background, national origin, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or political stance, will feel welcome. I aim to do this not just through the classroom environment, but also through my own interactions with students, as well as the content chosen for this class. I encourage discussion and civil debate in my classrooms, including my online classrooms. However, blatantly offensive or discriminatory comments will not be tolerated. When you are talking with your students, or your fellow students on a discussion board, which you're going to have to do at some point, disagreement is fine, and lively debate is also fine, but I consider me your, Instagram comments moderator, right? Offensive or discriminating comments will not be tolerated. Some other policies, which I go into more detail on the actual syllabus. Late assignments, you lose 10% for every day that is late, and no assignments are accepted later than 1 week. Also, no assignments are accepted after the last day of the semester. So the last day of the semester, that's the last day that you can hand something in. But if, Monday morning rolls around, you haven't finished your module, I recommend finishing it on Tuesday, right? It's better to get 90% of those points potentially than none of those points. Special accommodations, which there is, again, a much longer section written on the syllabus, but a documented disability, a religious holiday, a school-sponsored sport. If you need special accommodations for those, please let me know in the first 2 weeks. If this is your first online class and you have disability accommodations where you may normally take your exam in a testing center where you get more time, I can give you more time on Blackboard, you individually as a student. So, but I need that documentation. I need to know about it in order to do it. Please don't wait till the day of the exam. Cheating and plagiarism will result in a grade of 0, and the college will be notified. And ignorance cannot be used as an excuse because you're going to learn all about it if you haven't already as part of your first module. And so lastly, this is our schedule for the semester. As you can see here, here is the module number, here is the topics we're going to cover. Here is the assignments that are due for that module, within that module. And then these are the readings that you are expected to read as part of that module. So for our first thing, we're doing an introduction to the class, which is basically what you're doing now, cheating and plagiarism, followed by what is sustainability, which is going to be a pretty short lecture. You're going to do your course introduction, your plagiarism quiz, which again, you could take up to 3 times, and your first writing exercise, which is going to be all about ecological footprint. One of the reasons why I love teaching this class is because in addition to my teaching, I also work as a research scientist for some place called the Global Footprint Network, which is all about ecological footprint, which we will learn about later. But it's basically, can this Earth sustain us with the rate we're using resources? And so you're going to take an individual footprint calculator in part of the first module to kind of look at how you compare to others around you. So that is it for the introduction to the syllabus. You are now going to move on to your first module.